Hi, good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us. We'll just wait a couple more minutes and just to ensure everybody has joined the call, and then we'll just get this webinar going. Okay, so I guess we'll just get started. Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to our webinar today. My name is Marisol Lopez, and I'm the Territory Manager, and I will be your moderator here today. Presenting, I have Kamal Arfin, which is our Technical Engineer. So in this webinar, what we want to do is really show you how to integrate the secure mobile printing into your environments and the different ways of how you can do it. If you want to learn more about our products, we can certainly do a follow-up with our partner here, Rebel Technology. Now, you are now in listening mode, and if you have any questions or comments, please just use the box, and I will try to get to that at the end of the panel, and we'll try to answer as many questions that we can. And if we didn't get to your question, we'll certainly get back to you on that. This webinar is being recorded, and it will be sent to all attendees tomorrow. So now I'm going to pass it over to Maggie from Rebel Technology to tell you a little bit about what they do.
Thanks, Marisol, and hi, everyone. My name is Maggie, and I'm the Marketing Manager here at Rebel Technology. And again, we'd just like to thank everyone for attending today. As you know, Rebel Technology is a fast-growing IT solutions company headquartered in Houston. Our focus areas are hardware and software reselling, managed services, and project-based services. We're based on 3 components that make the Rebel difference: our people, process, and technology. We are a technical resource company with a higher ratio of engineers to account managers in order to provide our customers with the highest level of success through innovative solutions. And we work with premier manufacturers such as Uniprint to deliver comprehensive printing solutions to our customers. So just as a reminder, everyone will receive a $10 Starbucks gift card for attending this webinar today. And with that, I hope everyone's ready, and I'll turn the presentation over to Marisol Lopez.
Okay, well, thank you, Maggie. Very briefly, this is the agenda, what we want to go through today. I'm going to just give you a quick corporate overview. I'm going to tell you about Uniprint, its offerings, and its product. Then we're going to be going, obviously, to the secure mobile printing, go into a little bit more detail on the different ways of how it can be set in the environment. We'll go into a demo, and then we'll open it up for any questions that you may have. So just a little bit of a corporate overview. Uniprint has been around since 1999. We have distribution centers around the world. Our corporate head office is located in Toronto, Canada, and we have another one as well in the UK. So our innovative technology really simplifies the printer management, enables the secure follow-me printing across platforms while reducing printing costs and providing you with a great ROI. Our mission really, at the end of the day, is to really eliminate the printing issues and just give you one driver to just manage. So when we look at this, this is where we're going to start as far as the core of our product. So Uniprint Infinity is a PDF-based printing solution. Our software can be installed in virtual environments such as Citrix Setup and Desktop, Horizon View, Microsoft Terminal servers, as well as being able to print from the cloud. In addition to our core solution, we offer the mobile printing and secure printing using our virtual print queue, which we'll go into a little bit more detail during our demo part. So our focus for today, we're going to be talking obviously on the mobile printing. We will go through and explain how you can print from your iOS, OS X, Android devices, also from Chromebook, and we also have another one that is email to print, which it can be used for guest printing in your environment. Then we're going to integrate how the mobile and security really come together in all of this. So our virtual print queue is another feature offered by Uniprint that allows you to print in a very secure manner. I like to tie this with our statistics and archiving modules, security as well, because the statistics module allows you to capture the information that is being printed across your network. This is actually really good if you really want to analyze what different departments, what is the flow or the number of print jobs that they are producing. The archiving module gives you the ability to save every print job that is being printed, and you can see exactly what users are printing. So this also gives you the document security in the environment. So on the next slide. So in this particular stat, there's one that has been done. So it says that about 83% of organizations are looking for a mobile printing solution, BYOD or stuff like that. But really, it's only about 14% that have deployed the solution. So we do understand at some point this is going to be a request and a requirement in the organization. So we just wanted to give you some heads up on how you can actually bring Uniprint into your environment. So now, just to give you an example, here's an illustration of a user releasing a document to one of our VPad devices. And we'll be able to show you what this particular device looks like. So this is a hardware device used for releasing print jobs. It normally sits by a group of printer, totally printer independent and very simple to install and manage. The users would first have to authenticate themselves before they can release a document. In this particular example, this was set up in a large hospital where document security is extremely important, and this is a secure feature that they are using there at the moment, where all the VPads have been implemented throughout the hospital. We can also integrate this feature with mobile printing. So just imagine everybody now is really printing to one virtual print queue. So whatever hardware device that they're using or mobile device using, they can just send it out to our virtual print queue, or they can go up to this device and actually be able to release their print job at that point. So now I want to show you a short clip on how the VPads are being used in this hospital.
Your documents with Uniprint couldn't be any easier. All you do is simply take and wave your smart card name tag in front of the Uniprint VPad and enter your 4-digit PIN code, and your documents will automatically print. Your documents.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Gamal. So now what I'm going to do, I just wanted to give you guys just a quick little overview on how they're using and how simple it is to use the secure mobile feature or the secure print feature in this particular hospital. So now I'm going to pass it over to Gamal, and he's going to explain to you how Uniprint is set up and the different ways of how it can be implemented in your environment.
Thanks, Marisol, and hello everyone. Good morning. I'll begin by showing you a few diagrams to give you a general overview of how print jobs would travel from mobile devices to network printers within the organization. And with Uniprint, there's two ways of how we can set this up for printing from mobile devices. The first method outlined in this diagram here, it shows mobile users that are connected to a Citrix session. On these mobile devices, they would have a Citrix receiver installed, and that would allow them to connect to a Citrix server that hosts various applications. In this scenario, the mobile device doesn't require any additional components for Uniprint, since these printers can be presented to the users within their Citrix sessions. In the data center would be a typical setup of Uniprint components, which consist of the following. And I'll start with the application server component. This is where we have the Uniprint Universal PDF driver and where we convert each document into a PDF file. By converting documents to a PDF file allows us to compress and also encrypt print jobs. That way we can transfer these files very quickly and securely. From the application server, we route the jobs over to our bridge server. Our bridge server has multiple roles for Uniprint. It's our centralized management console, it's our license server, and it also has the task of routing print jobs from different Citrix servers to different print servers within the organization. So it's like a traffic cop for print jobs. From the bridge server, you can manage and assign printers for mobile users with what we call PrintPal. So within PrintPal, you can use AD objects, device names, or email addresses to assign printers. On the bridge server, after the job gets to the bridge server, it routes it over to the print server. So there's a small component for Uniprint that gets installed on the print server, and from there we hand it off to the native driver, which then the document gets spooled and sent to the printer. So that's how users would print from their mobile devices directly to a network printer from their Citrix session. We can also tie in secure printing. So with secure prints, we have users that would have to authenticate before releasing their print jobs to a printer. And how this works is within the Citrix session, there's a Uniprint queue. We call this queue the virtual print queue. And once users print to that virtual print queue, their job stays within the data center until they authenticate and release their documents. For releasing documents, we have what's called a VPad. As Marisol mentioned, this is a physical device that would normally sit by a group of printers, and we'll cover this in later slides during the webinar. So the second method that we have for printing is directly from mobile devices. This is where there is no Citrix sessions that users connect to, but instead the users would like to print from any native applications on the device itself. For this method of printing, it requires a mobile app to be installed on the devices. The mobile app can be downloaded from the App Store or Google Play Store. And then printing from native application requires a server component which would normally reside in the DMZ. This is the only new server needed in your environment if Uniprint is already set up. The web server will have our mobile server component, which will allow mobile devices to print to printers within the organization. So the mobile component would relay print jobs to the bridge server that you would have in your organization. So the bridge server would be in the data center, and then from there it would just be like the previous example where the jobs would get routed to the print servers and then handed off to the printer. Again, we can tie in secure printing with this setup so users can print to the virtual print queue and then release their jobs at any VPad device. Some key things to mention: these mobile users can be on any network. It can be an external network, it could be on a carrier's network, or it could be on your internal network. Okay, we can use PrintPal to manipulate which printers these users are seeing. This next slide here talks about our secure printing. So as we can see, the components for Uniprint stays the same. We have our application server, the bridge server, and then the print server. And all we would have to do is enable the secure print feature for Uniprint, which we can enable on the servers in the data center. So taking a look at the VPads that we currently have, I'll start on the left-hand side with the VPad CE. The VPad CE was designed for print stream compression, which we'll cover in a different webinar. The two that I'll focus on for this webinar is the VPad Touch and the VPad Pro. The VPad Touch in the center, this can be set up by a group of printers, and this would allow users to authenticate and then release their documents in a secure way. The VPad Pro on the right combines the functionality of the VPad CE and the VPad Touch into one unit. And it also has built-in card readers, so it has the HID that you can have built in or RFID card readers. All of these VPads are one-to-many, meaning you can assign multiple printers to one VPad, and they're also vendor independent. So you can have a Xerox printer, a Canon printer, all associated to the same VPad device. So let's take a look at some of the solutions that we have for these mobile devices. The first solution that we have for iOS and OS X devices, and this allows you to take any printers on your print server and make them available on these devices. So this relies on Apple's Bonjour protocol. It'll take any existing printers, and through our publisher utility, it'll make those printers available for end users. What that means for your end users, there's zero configuration. It's very easy for admins to set up, and it could also be integrated with secure printing. So that's the first method. The only limitation to this method is that users would have to be on the same network because of the restriction with Bonjour protocol. So we introduced the second method, which we have for iOS and OS X printing, and these users could be on any network. So they could be on your internal or external network and still be able to print to printers that you have in the organization. So this requires that application that I mentioned before that you download and install on a device from the App Store. And again, this is all integratable with our existing feature sets. So secure printing, statistics, and archiving can all be integrated. And the same goes for Android. So again, these users could be on any network. They would download and install the application from the Google Play Store. It's fully integratable with our existing feature set, and it's very simple for end users to use. For Chromebook printing, we have a simple extension the users would install on their Chrome browser, and this would also allow them to print to printers that you have in the organization. And all of these devices, you can manage these printers from a centralized place in our management console, and there's a section called PrintPal where you would configure the mappings for these printers. So it's very simple for end users to use. There's no big learning curve for the end users, since it's the normal workflow that they would be used to. For email to print, we see this set up a lot for guest printing. So this is where you have guests coming into the organization. They're looking to print off documents, but let's say you didn't want to give them access to your internal network devices. You can set up email to print. And this is very simple to set up. All you do is assign an email address to a printer, and Uniprint takes care of the rest. It's very simple to use because anyone knows how to send an email, and all end users would have to do is send an email with an attachment. Once we receive that attachment, we'll take that attachment and then send it to the printer that you assign. So this is all very simple to set up for an admin, which I'll go through and kind of show you the configuration during the demo. And speaking of the demo, let's switch over to my iPad where I'll show you different methods of printing. So here I have my iPad, and I've got a test document here pulled up, and I'm going to go through and show you the different methods of how we can print this document from this mobile device. So the first method that I wanted to show you is the native way that we have for iOS printing. So this is using the regular print from the iOS device. And this is where we're presented with any printers that I choose as an admin that users can print to on the print server. So for example, let's send this document to the HP printer. We'll hit print, and what we will see is that document sent to my print server. Let's just pull that up so you can take a look. So here we can see that document that I just submitted to the HP printer. It's being spooled, so it's already sent to the driver. It's being spooled, and then it's going to be sent to the printer. Okay, so that's the first method. We'll just clean out the queue. And let's go back to the iPad. So the second method that we have, and this is where users would download the application and point it to the web server in the DMZ. And this is the Uniprint icon that we see here. So if I clicked on this, if I hit select printer, it would give me a list of printers that I can choose. And these printers, as I mentioned, these are all configured by the admin, so you can pick and choose which printers you want these mobile users to have access to. And this is done through our management console. So the centralized management console here for Uniprint, if we clicked on PrintPal, we can see that this iOS test user should be presented with these 3 printers here. And those are the same 3 printers that we see on the iOS device. So we'll send this job here to the Canon printer. We'll hit print. And if we were to check that queue, we would see that job now sitting in the Canon queue. Okay, so it's already processed by Uniprint, and it's now sitting on that queue on the print server. Okay, so let's clean that out, and we'll send another job here. So going back to the mobile device here, the next method that we have for printing is what we call email to print. So this is where any guest coming into the organization, they could send an email. In this case, I've already assigned this email to print email to one of my printers. So we'll call this test. We'll go ahead and we'll send this out. And the way that this is configured is, let's take a look at the bridge server. So I can choose any of these printers to assign email to print to. In this case, I chose the Uniprint virtual print queue. And let's just pull up the properties here and take a look at how easy this is to configure. So I've assigned the email address, I've entered the username and the password, I've verified the account, and I've configured the email settings for the email address that I use. So that's done here on the print server. I'm just going to show you that quickly. So this is where you would set up the server information for that email. Once that's set up, that's all that's required for email to print. Okay, so going back to the VPads, since we submitted a job to the virtual print queue, what would happen here shortly is we would receive a message saying that we submitted a job to the virtual print queue, and in order to release that document, we would require to enter a PIN, and then that would allow us to release that document. So we'll give it a second here for it to pop up, and once we see that email, we can then release that document. So the email will look similar to this. It'll say you submitted a document to the virtual print queue, and this would be the PIN to release that document. Okay, so there's that email that I was mentioning. Let's just go back and grab that email. And in order to release this document that we submitted, we would have to enter the PIN of 6009. So to show you what that would look like, we actually have an emulator here of the VPad device. So the emulator here shows the exact same screen that you would see on a physical device. And this is where users would go up to authenticate before releasing their documents. So in this case, we can release that document that I just sent using the PIN that we received via the email. So now I can choose which printers I want to send this document to. Okay, so we'll send it to the HP, and we can see that this document is now in the HP queue. Okay, so that's how users would print in a very secure way using our secure print queue and then releasing their document when they're ready. Okay, so that concludes what I wanted to show for this webinar. I'll now pass it back to Marisol.
Okay, so what we're going to do, we have some questions here. So the first question is, can the middle suite for Uniprint be implemented by itself, or does it need to have the full Uniprint Infinity product?
So yeah, great question. You can definitely implement the mobile suite by itself without the full Uniprint product. It's very simple to set up, as you would only need a server in the data center, and then the web server in the DMZ. So the license and bridge server is what you would need back in the data center.
Okay. Okay. What servers do I need for mobile printing?
So there's only 2 servers that we require to be set up, which is the bridge and license server for Uniprint, and then the web server component for the mobile devices.
Okay, so this is a good one. How does it work on cloud?
So with cloud printing, it works exactly the same as if you were to have an environment that's hosted locally in a data center. In a cloud scenario, mobile users would point to the web server in the cloud instead of the web server in your DMZ.
Okay, I see another question. Do you need individual servers, or can these components or services reside on one server? What a great question.
Yeah, that is a great question. So for the mobile users, since they connect from an external network, for example, like a carrier's network, we recommend having the mobile component installed on the web server. It could correlate with other items on that web server, other roles. But the bridge server, we do recommend having it on its own dedicated server within the data center.
Okay. Yeah, no, these are great questions, everyone, and thank you for participating. So now I'm going to pass it over to Maggie, so we can get this done. Okay.
Yeah, I just want to thank everyone again for joining our webinar, and I want to remind you that one of the Rebel Technology account managers will be reaching out to set up a time to give you your $10 Starbucks gift card. So thanks, everyone.
Great, perfect. Well, thank you, everyone.